I admit it. I need to go check out MotherDuck again. I don't think I gave it a fair shot the first time. It looked like a cool idea, but I thought to myself, why do I need another data warehouse? I use BigQuery, and I'm really happy with that. But I also didn't really understand the use cases for DuckDB in general. I hadn't really been using it, but man, have things changed. And I feel like I'm starting to reach for DuckDB more than even my beloved Polars library, especially from an application standpoint, because DuckDB really, it is starting to click on just what you can do with it, which is starting to feel like everything. Given that, I went to MotherDuck and just to check it out and think to myself, okay, if I wanted to use a different warehouse, or if I wanted to try something other than BigQuery, which I really liked, what would be the next best thing? And I should probably learn it. Well, I went to MotherDuck and I kind of looked at just what the pricing looks like. And I was quite surprised that they offer a pretty incredible free tier, which we can take a look at. But it competed with BigQuery. And at that point I said, all right, wait a second. It's come a long way. It's really starting to position itself in almost a disruptive manner. And from what I can tell from some of the comments I've seen on LinkedIn and even Substack, I think that their product team understands where they need to go to be a much bigger fish in this pond of data warehouses. And I think they're honestly onto something, specifically optimizing for these smaller workloads that most businesses really use. I love BigQuery, but I don't need petabyte scale compute. I don't need that. What I need is something optimized for my very regular workloads that comes with a cost benefit as well. So today we're going to dive into MotherDuck. We're going to check it out. We're probably going to try to connect it to some things. There's going to be some edits in here, and there's probably going to be some stretches that y'all don't see because I'm doing this from the very first get-go. I didn't rehearse it at all. So if it gets too hairy, we're going to chop it. But let's take a look and get into this. Okay, so here's the MotherDuck homepage. I always like to come to these homepages and just give a couple thoughts on what I see and a little bit of reaction. Making big data feel small. I really love this about DuckDB. They're not trying to act like, look at this crazy amount of data we can process. It's really trying to say, hey, we're focused on, customer-facing analytics and BI. And here's just the secret I feel like so many people don't want to talk about. Most workloads are small, especially ones that are around business intelligence and customer-facing. You've already processed most of your raw data, you've filtered it out, you've normalized it, you've turned it into a much more concise, useful table that you just want to grab a small amount for a request that someone has. That's basically really what most data is for. The back end crunching, yeah, you want that compute power, but that shouldn't happen every single time you have a query. If you're doing your data infrastructure and your analytics pipelines correctly, you're offloading all that compute in the very beginning, and then you're just keeping this last mile pipeline and this last mile data model that is very effective, very cost beneficial to you and your business, so that you are not, racking up crazy bills looking at it. And MotherDuck, makes a point here of saying, it's a cloud data warehouse scaling to terabytes, right, for customer-facing analytics and BI. So making big data feel small. And I think it's a really, really good idea. It's good marketing. Just in general, when you look at the brand of this website, you don't even feel like you're looking at a data tool. I really do love this about MotherDuck. DuckDB kind of leans into the Duck thing, but MotherDuck goes just, whole hog on it. And sometimes a little too much. I see people just wearing too much Duck stuff, but you got to do what you got to do for your advertising. And so I'm not going to hate on that, but man, I love the branding they have. It's playful. It's not childish. It's innocent. And it really makes MotherDuck set itself apart. It's not trying to be really techie. It's trying to be really approachable. And man, I really love that about the way that MotherDuck brands itself. It's just cool. It's a very slick website too. Just it's It's elements, like things like this. Who's it for? Why it's better. Just so straightforward. Nothing ridiculous happening here. So I just in general just wanted to say that. We should look at really how they scale real quick. I think this is really cool. So MotherDuck's per user tenancy model gives the user an isolated duckling, so an isolated DuckDB instance, okay, in one of its 5 sizes. So it's when you're going to open MotherDuck, you're essentially going to get your own DuckDB instance, and it has different levels of size. And the way that, say, BigQuery works is it gives you slots, and it gives you, it's sort of a, I'm going to get this totally wrong. So you get slots in BigQuery, and then you can provision the amount you want for your query as well. Otherwise, it'll just sort of automatically figure it out for you. But that doesn't scale great with smaller amounts of data. You usually get over provisioned, or you just really don't even need even the smallest amount of provisioning. That is one of the things about these large data warehouses is it's a lot of over provisioning. Yes, you can do these small workloads, and it's fine for that. And they do have free tiers involved, and it's not exactly super expensive to do these things, but it's not really set up for that. I feel like what MotherDuck is doing is saying, hey, we are giving you what we think you need, and given that DuckDB is in memory, I think that gives it this really like lightweight, just in time type of scale, and I think that makes a lot of sense in terms of getting a cost benefit there too, right? So right here, the smallest instance for these different sizes is Pulse, perfect for ad hoc analytics tasks, right, on demand. Then they got the standard, so built-in common data warehouse workloads, including loads and transforms. Okay, that's cool for everyday tasks and balanced performance. It's a standard one. And yeah, so the ad hoc, I feel like you're going to do this on tables that are already set up. Standard's going to be, hey, you want to load tables in. That's how much you'll need. Jumbo, predictable performance and heavy workloads. Yeah, for large data warehouse workloads with many transformations and complex aggregations, which, I don't know what large really technically even means here. It could mean really, really large, terabytes, right? But we'll see. And then there's mega, so it probably isn't maybe not terabytes. Extremely large instance for when you need complex transformations done quick. So we're talking about large ML stuff, maybe LLM stuff. I don't totally know, but when we're at least like probably for ML types of workloads, large amounts of column-based data. And then Giga, okay, largest instance enabled for the toughest transformations, and it's like contact us on that. So yeah, who knows who's gonna Giga, but obviously they have to go through it. And just looking at the way their product is marketed here, Pulse, Standard, Jumbo, Mega, Giga. I think Snowflake kind of does these sizes too, but again, they're using DuckDB to do this, and it's already an open source technology. And I think that it probably means that there's gonna be a level of cost benefit to it. That's what I think. And maybe I'm wrong, and y'all can tell me all in the comments how wrong I am. So go for it. I did not, look at this website thoroughly before coming here. I was like, I held off. So I'm like, let's just do this first time. So I'm kind of taking it in as I look at it. Okay. Let's get to the product, which is the data warehouse, and I've got this here. I did a video on DuckDB UI, which has a similar UI to the MotherDuck data warehouse UI as well, but it's more about a notebook. It's more like an analytical notebook, similar to real data. If I did a video on that as well. But here on MotherDuck, you're getting the warehouse, the data warehouse, and you're going to get what the DuckDB UI has and a little bit more. It comes with these sample data sets and comes with these sample queries. I'm not gonna SQL in real time on a video, but I did have one little simple select all here for the Hacker News data set, but then they have some other pre-built ones for you to check out. It's in each cell, so if you've heard me talk, I don't really like notebook cells, but Marimo and DuckDB I think are they're using cells as an aesthetic decision. It's not really cumbersome. It's not getting in your way the way I feel like Python notebooks get in my way. In fact, it is nice to be able to have separated query instances in one screen. I think for SQL specifically, this is where cells actually really do shine, as opposed to long Python scripts that I just don't prefer that. I like to have that script into one giant script and not just broken up in a lot of cells. But SQL, I could definitely see needing multiple queries to kind of run independently when you want to here. And so that's why I think I'm starting to really understand the gist of why the notebook cells are important and useful. Control enter lets me run a query here. And, in MotherDuck, you get a very cool breakdown of, what's in the table and how things look. You can see things here in the results, and you can make things bigger. I haven't done anything outside of running this query in MotherDuck, so I'm going to go ahead and check some things out here. So first of all, there's this thing called pulse. I think I'm using the pulse, right? So we read the sizes of the ducklings. So right now I'm doing I think change your read-write duckling to improve UI inquiry performance. So what does this do? So pulse, okay. So the free plan I'm in comes with the pulse. That makes total sense. The standard comes with the light and business plans for everyday tasks and balance. Okay, cool. So you do need to get into a business plan if you want to kind of do more than just the read-write, and that makes total sense. Let me see, how can we get back here? I'm just going to go back. All right, given that we're doing sort of ad hoc read-writes, makes sense. That's cool. Let's come down to this one here. They are running it within a time frame, and we can see the side, and we can see some of these, right? These breakdowns here. I really do love these little spark lines, and they're not really, they're just small. They're really mini graphs, actually. They're not spark lines per se. Like, that's kind of a spark line, but this is like a full-on graph with values over time. I think that's super awesome to be able to check that out. That's really cool stuff. I'm trying to remember if DuckDB UI actually has those. I believe they do. But this is definitely, this kind of view is a differentiating feature. I'm surprised BigQuery hasn't tried to take in something like this from MotherDuck, but yeah. It's cool stuff. Let me make this go bye-bye. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, so the NYC, right? These are all the taxi data. So it's a big data set. And I think we can kind of get an idea of it here. So NYC here, there's the rideshare, the service request, and then the taxi data. Okay, cool. So yeah, well, the taxi data is 3.25 million rows. The service request is 32.5 million rows, and the rideshare is 18. So service request is 32.5 million rows, and that's what we're doing a query on right here, is on the service request within a time frame. And I don't know if they're partitioned. It doesn't look like they are, and I don't know if partitioning is even a thing with DuckDB. Maybe do you need an instance? Can you partition with DuckDB? I have no idea. And if so, do you just create different instances of DuckDB to have different partitions? I have no idea. That's a really interesting question. I need to find out. That being said, you can see the performance right here, right? So that's a sizable amount of rows, and it's running right through it. And this is a free tier. And, we're just running it over 32.5 million rows, getting information. If I was to go to, I guess, 331, I don't know if it goes that far. A little bit longer, but, yeah, it keeps going. Yeah, it keeps going. Let's see. To get down here, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it, yeah, maybe it doesn't. So from 1 second to one, yeah, maybe it doesn't actually go that long, but that's a lot of rows that shows up there. So you can create a database still, okay? So you can create a database called ShareDB, you create, so that's the database. You can create a table called aggregated order data. And then, yeah, they're using a subquery here. Well, no, they're not. Yeah, interesting. Oh, wow. Super interesting. Okay. So what they're doing here, oh, wow. They are creating a table using an Iceberg scan. I didn't realize that. That is super interesting. Okay, so they're scanning an Iceberg table, a lake house, right? An Iceberg table. So that's files, like it's going to be a storage bucket with files on it, usually like parquets. And I had not got to this query. And they just have, it looks like, a built-in Iceberg scan function that you can use to build a table. So that is super awesome and super incredible. Let's just get real about BigQuery in a lot of ways. It is really behind on Iceberg stuff, and it's really behind on Lakehouse stuff in general. I felt like I saw the Iceberg integration with BigQuery early on, but it made no sense to me. I didn't understand how to get it in. I didn't know how to get these Iceberg tables into BigQuery, and maybe that's been improved, but not from what I can tell. But this looks like a very quick no-brainer. I'm going to run this query. Let's see what happens. Okay, that was that. So it read on an S3 bucket an Iceberg table, which is just a bunch of parquets, and it grouped by all of them, and it averaged the disk count, and it summed up the price. So you got an average discount, so you got a ship date, an average discount, and then the total extended price for a day on this data. And then the table's been made. Where did they make that table? Where did it go? Okay, so we got this. It made this, right? Yeah, MyShareDB. So it made MyShareDB. So it's a data set similar to BigQuery, and then within it has tables. And then it has a main branch. I got to figure this out. Is this this main branch right here? Oh, what did I just do? MyShareDB. Okay. The main branch. What is this? It's just, okay. So I guess it just means where the tables are, but there's sort of just this extra. So it's a schema. Okay. I love the overlay stuff. I love how overlay gives information. Love that. Love that. And, okay, type table. Yes, estimated rows. Yeah. Let's think about what it did here. So first of all, we clicked on that and we can see the little spark lines and information there. Really, really cool. DuckDB UI did the same thing, and MotherDuck helped them with that. But what it did, I mean, it went and looked at an Iceberg and then created this table here and put this here. That's really, I mean, that's so sleek. It's just so effortless to be able to just read that like that. And I think, this isn't pure SQL. DuckDB has a lot of built-in functionality that works, feels more like programming, like maybe more like Python. Because, I mean, this right here, this Iceberg scan, I mean, that looks like a Python function. Let's be real. I think the backend is C#, C. It's probably C#. I'm going to put a graphic here, I'm sure. Anyways, the way that it can do that, though, is effortless. You don't have to, mess around in the UI, which, BigQuery, I'm starting to kind of just say what I don't like about BigQuery now, but it is one of the things, like menu diving. BigQuery's really got an issue with that, and GCP in general kind of has a menu diving problem, but you could just do it right here, which is cool. And maybe I'm wrong about BigQuery, and someone can let me know there that you're like, you can do that now, Hoyt. Okay, well, wasn't obvious to me. That being said, we can create a database and put a table within that. And then right here, you just call from. That's the cool thing too about the short order query. Just be like from the table, just selects all, and here we go and shows it. I think that's really awesome to be able to just pull from Iceberg like that. Then down here, this last one is create share, and I don't totally know what that means. What does share mean? Do we have any overlay there? No. Okay. My shared example from MyShareDB. So from this data set up here, access, organization, visibility, discovery. What is this? Okay. Want to share what you just did with your colleagues? In the panel to the left, click the 3 dots next to my shared table. Let me do that. Okay. Doing it. And choose share. Okay, I'm going to hit share. Okay, whoa, what is going on here? What is going on here? What do I do now? Okay, I feel like I need to read this. Change the name of the share to something interesting and share it with your whole organization. You can invite other users by selecting invite your team. Okay, well, anyone in organization. Discoverable. Very cool as a share name. What happens? Okay, so members of your organization will be able to attach this share either in the database list on the left or by running the following SQL. Okay, so now attach is the command for DuckDB to create a database or a DuckDB table for you to have access to. So use attach there. So it's saying attach this, to it. Okay, so gosh, that's cool. If I copy it, I already have this. You can also just do this with code. Right here, as a query, you can do this. So there's the UI version. Alternative, just run the SQL below. That's fantastic. And then, so it creates a share. What are you calling it? It's share URL, something like that. And then you can copy right here. Man, that is next level UI. And the amount, big cheers to MotherDuck's product team right here, because this is thinking deeply about the problem space that data engineers or analysts, data people in general, technical product managers like myself, who have a background in data science and engineering, like, these are the things that I would like. I want to have them immediately accessible, like being able to run a query, make a table that I have, and then just create a share URL. Let's get back to BigQuery. Saving queries or sharing queries is a pain. And if it's changed, please someone tell me. But you have to either save them in sort of a public access folder, which everyone has access to, at least from an IAM standpoint. Or, no, you can't. I mean, you can. I know you can share the URLs of them. I just found it very cumbersome. We're going to go to BigQuery real quick. We're going to do this real quick. Let's go to the console. Yeah, because I'm thinking about like actual tables. Okay, so I've got this table here, streaming data. This is a good one. There's a share. There's a copy link. Let's see what this looks like. It's all there in the URL. Great, I have access to it. It's in the UI. I don't know if it has the ability to do that in SQL. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that up. But personally, I think the UI what MotherDuck is doing here is even better, because you can run it, you can see the output, and then you can copy it. I like that. I think you're just sort of in flow better there. That's really fascinating. If I was to copy that then and put that here, the other point though, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So this is just where, so there, it's not, okay. So it's about, you can attach that basically is what it's saying, is you could attach this. Is that right? Yeah. And then if I share, create the share. So all someone's going to do if they want to is they're going to go attach this. I guess oops. Is this not going to work? Hold on. Oh, look what this thing's doing right here. It's fixing this for me. I didn't know it did this for the free tier. Wow. So it will offer like a cursor like update. I didn't know it did this. So I ran it, it wasn't correct, and it's showing a fix. Let's accept and run that. Okay, so the The reason, okay, I'm just laughing because it's sort of a surprise and delight thing. I wasn't expecting that to happen, and it did. I think that's great. I do think BigQuery, I know, is showing, last time I was in BigQuery, it is starting to show line completion and things like that. But I think that is really, really savvy, that feature, because you tried running something and it came back and said, hey, maybe this works. Here's a fix. Do you want to use it? And you're like, yes, and it works. It just feels good. It feels good. And quite frankly, I've said this, and I think that's where, products are going, is products have to think a lot more about the experience, and they have to think about the flow of the experience, especially these types of, developer tools, these experiences for the developer. You can't just get away with, hey, here's something that gets you what you want, but this clunky UI, you just got to deal with it. I just don't think so. I think stuff that reduces friction, we'll say common website building, common e-commerce platform building. Those are laser focused on reducing friction. And MotherDuck right there is really focused on reducing friction. I put the wrong query in. It wasn't formatted correctly. So instead of banging my head and going over here and figuring it out and looking at it again, it just said, hey, here's the fix. Let's use it and run it. That is a free tier that it's just giving me and allowing me. That's awesome. That's awesome, MotherDuck. Thank you. Really good stuff. Really, really good stuff. Let's check some stuff out. Let's create a table from files. And this is, you can do that. You can do this in BigQuery, but again, the experience, I think, is where people are you're going to start pulling more and more people into your product if your experience is good. I love that they put this at the very top left, because let's be real. A lot of people, especially if you're in analytics, you've got stuff locally that you would like to kind of just probably keep in a UI and run. But this will save it up in a MotherDuck servers as well. So down here, documents, I've got a AirPython I've been working on here with data, and in it is a JSON file. So I've got a JSON file with this dummy synthetic data that I like to use when I test stuff. Let's see what happens. Okay, cool. Table name, selected data schema, okay, let's see what this is saying here. All right, so create a table from the JSON file with auto-detected schema. Yeah, that's what we want to do. Table name, streaming data JSON. We'll put it into my shared database. Yeah, let's put it in my shared database. Ignore errors, throw out rows that fail to parse. Okay, we'll just do that. Let's see what happens. Okay, it created. Look at this UI. Look at this experience that's happening. It's like, here's this modal that opens up, and this is a totally different data warehouse experience. This is so non-tech. I love it. There's so much taste here. It's why I like Claude over OpenAI. OpenAI, I use ChatGPT for some things, but it's so sterile and just very space and void and very just, I am tech, look at me. And I like stuff with a little bit of depth, and Anthropic and Claude give me that vibe. And that's what MotherDuck is doing right now. So what it is showing here is, here's your table. It's been created. And let's query this table in a new notebook. Cool. So we're in a notebook. Can I go back to the other notebook? I don't know how to get between notebooks. It's right here. Duh. I know that. I knew that. Duh. Because I had done that in the DuckDB. It'd been a minute since I'd gone to the DuckDB UI. Here we go. So then you have these notebooks. And here's one thing I will say is one thing I like about BigQuery is tabs over the top to organize the different kind of queries I'm working on. This feels like this could get out of hand real quick, but you have multiple cells in each one, so that works. But what if I just had what if I'm just in this power session, I've just got 10, 15, 20 notebooks, which I very well could. Sometimes, it gets crazy when you're really doing a lot of ad hoc work too. Things get crazy. You just want to save what you did there, reference it another time. Look, I'm just saying, I've been there, and that's what happens. That feels like as this gets really long, maybe it doesn't work as well as tabs across the top, but we'll probably just cross that bridge if you get there. But cool. We've got, so they just set up a basic query for me. You know, here's your table, and it ran it, and here's all the data, right? And you take me talking out of the mix here, and that went really fast and really seamless. I feel like when I'm trying to create tables in BigQuery through its UI on JSON, man, I hit problems all the time. And I will say, JSON does need to be formatted in a certain way that BigQuery is happy with. I do believe that this JSON file I have, yes, it was a download from BigQuery actually. So I went to this table I had in BigQuery as well, same data. I downloaded the JSON from that. And, maybe it's just, data warehouses want the same thing. So it worked here in MotherDuck. But all that being said, it worked and it was really, really good. We know SQL. We all understand, what SQL is and how to do it. I'm not going to get into like running queries. Obviously, it runs SQL. And there's probably some different types of, maybe some dialect things that you'll get tripped up on. But I'm more interested in like what the tool is really offering here. And that whole experience of bringing in a JSON file and just it automatically making this notebook in this table for you in MotherDuck is really good. And that was pretty seamless. It really moves in a nice flow. The product feels good. I don't feel like I'm in a data warehouse. I really don't. I don't, in BigQuery, I feel like I'm in BigQuery. I feel like I'm in this data warehouse. This is kind of an experience. MotherDuck is this experience. It just has a vibe to it. I don't know what else to say. I really like synthesizers. And synthesizers have a vibe. And that's one of the things that everyone, lusts after for certain synthesizers is the vibe of it. And man, I would love to be in a room with all the product people here at MotherDuck while they're talking through things. It must be so much fun to think, hey, how does the experience, how should it feel? It feels good. That's what I can tell you. So we can create tables from files. We did it from JSON. It'll take CSV, Parquet, text, or JSON files. Way to go, MotherDuck. You can have multiple notebooks where you can have, different sessions basically. And then you have your hierarchy of your databases, which have tables underneath them, and you can share them. And then that URL people can just attach in their MotherDuck instance, and then they bring it right in. So it's like, because when you open MotherDuck, it's your own personal instance, right? So it's not going to be the same as say BigQuery, where when you save a query or you save a table, everyone just kind of has access to it. This is your instance, but you can send a URL, you can share it to your organization where they can then attach the data, the table to their instance. And that's a really clever way to handle that. That's a really clever way to think about that, given that DuckDB is the core technology there. That makes a lot of sense. As far as like getting insight into what's on these tables here, this is great. I mean, this stuff is great. And I think if I just run, I just run a query. I really like this inspector level. That seems like that should be getting bigger, everybody. What's going on here? I'm going to click on something. Okay, interesting. So we got funded. Oh, so the URLs, they kind of show the breakdown of the URLs. I mean, this is such, see, if this was data I really needed to use right now, man, this would be, the statistics in the UI to get in the statistics is so nice. It's nice. I liked BigQuery. I was like, oh, it shows you information about the table, which is good. But this is a whole nother level. It really is a whole nother level. Okay, there's the inspector. What is expert chat? Do I get chat? Ask in community Slack. Okay, or you get conversation. So I'm assuming this is an AI chatbot you can talk to in Light and Business Plans. Okay, on Light and Business Plans. Okay, cool. Well, I have to take a look at that. That probably is really useful. You can probably work on some things in chat. I do wonder what the model is they're using, but yeah. So the just the way to get into these different, look at this, right? This is a histogram right here with these numbers, and these are scores, and that's good for the histogram to get an idea of like scores. You just get a distribution of them. That's super good. Really, really good stuff. I love the way you can get into the histograms and the timelines and then the distributions, like this URL here. This is really good. You don't have to query for this. It's like a mini query. It's already telling you sort of these top 10 in a breakdown. I mean, that might answer a question without even needing to run a query. So that's really awesome. That's really awesome. Okay. Is there anything I'm missing? It's a straightforward UI, but man, it's very rich in experience. Like I really, really like this already. I wonder if I can do, I was looking to do connections. I'm going to bring in Google Cloud Storage. I wanted to read some parks. I wanted to go from this to Google Cloud Storage is actually what I meant to say. And so I wanted to look at how to send this out. Hopefully I can do it with a free plan. I'm going to check that out. But just being able to read and write, just even like using this instance as kind of your data warehouse, foundation is pretty incredible. That's pretty incredible for your own projects. And yeah, again, you're on a free plan. It has capacity limits. Don't know what those are. Let's take a look. What's this look like? Okay, so up to 5 members. Okay, I mean, that's pretty good, actually. I don't know. You can add members. Okay, so Pulse is capped at 10 compute units, I think, compute unit hours. That doesn't seem too crazy. Storage is capped at 10 gigabytes. If you're doing analytics and basic projects, you're never going to go over that. There's a fix-it for the AI function. That's really cool that the free plan comes with that AI fix-it function. That's really, really cool. You have some community support. That is good. To just lock in price for up to 5 people at an organization at $25 a month plus usage is pretty cheap. That's cheap. 25 cents per compute hour, $1.20 per hour for standard. Interesting. Yeah, I do wonder how this would look here with 5 members, price wise. That'd be interesting to look at and see. You're getting a lot with that free tier. This, I feel like even with BigQuery, I could keep it under $25 a month with a good amount of data still. But if you really do need a full data warehouse, you're spending more than $25 a month. And we'll say that's 25 base with usage. Yeah, you're still, let's just say it's another $20, $45 a month. No. That's cheaper. That's cheap. That's cheaper than BigQuery. 100%. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff here too that you can do. So there's access tokens, secrets, all kinds of things. I'm just hitting the surface, but this is my first time looking at MotherDuck, and I admittedly sort of was like, yeah, it's a cool idea, but who cares really? I've already have a data warehouse, but man, DuckDB I think is taking the data world really by the horns right now. And I think a lot of people are starting to get slightly fed up with their cloud bills and the modern data stack and kind of how complicated it is. And yeah, maybe we just need a tool to come in that just has a vibe and just does what it is you need to do and is rational about its pricing. So I think this is something that the world kind of needs. The world needs MotherDuck. And let's take a look at it more. I'm going to make some more videos for sure. Everyone, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you like what you see, I've got more links down in the description below. You can follow and subscribe. I'll be putting more videos out here soon, shortly. I took about a 2-month hiatus, but I am back on track. I also run a Substack, which I am building a community in. I will have information on that below. If you prefer to get updates for data and AI technology, I do a weekly newsletter there, and then I do written deep dives into data AI tools. So some things overlap with here, but for the most part, I'm trying to get nice, concise, easy reads for data and AI tools that you would like and find relevant to your work. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.